Hello, my name is Karen Gondoly and I'm the CEO of Leostream. Today I want to talk about the HP Z Remote Graphics Software or RGS display protocol and its integration with Leostream. Now, Leostream has actually worked with the RGS team for well over a decade, and we have many customers using RGS to provide remote access to workstations, whether those be Z workstations or maybe VMs, could be up in the cloud, whatever you happen to have. So let's talk about what RGS is and how it works with Leostream and why you should use it. So first, RGS itself is a high-performance display protocol really built for power users and their graphics-intensive workloads. So whether those be creatives in the media and entertainment industry or architects with modeling design, anyone doing engineering workflows, whether they need access to Windows or Linux, those are all great use cases for RGS. RGS has some great functionality that enables remote collaboration, and this allows your users to share applications, work together from across the world, and you can have as many users collaborating on that session as you need based on the projects that you have. RGS, everyone's concerned about security. It is a secure by design protocol, so you always know that the data is in your control, but your users are still productive. So you have RGS, it gives you the great end user performance, but what about IT? They have to manage these environments, and that's where Leostream comes in. You need more than just a display protocol to build any kind of end user computing environment. The Leostream platform adds the centralized access control. So it has policy-based rules that will assign workstations to users based on who they are, where they are, when they're logging in, many different ways for IT to control who has access to what so that they can optimize resource usage and obviously audit and track who's using everything. Leostream does support a variety of different multi-factor authentication methods, including has SAML integration, so you can use any identity provider to log into Leostream that supports SAML. One other thing that we have is obviously part of our platform is the Leostream Gateway. So that gives you the remote support. So if you have racked workstations and you have a floor of traders, for example, sitting on the trade floor, and they just need to do an RGS connection to the resources in the data center, they probably have clients on the same network so they can connect directly. But if those traders or other users go home and they need to connect to those racked workstations, that's where you need the Leostream Gateway to allow anywhere access for these hybrid users. Specifically when talking about RGS, as I mentioned, Leostream has been working with the RGS team for over a decade, and we have very tight integration with that protocol. Obviously, we can launch the connections, but beyond that, we have an invitation system built into our connection broker that allows RGS users to send invitations to the users that they want to collaborate with. So that's a really easy way for users to know how to connect to another user's session when it's appropriate. As I mentioned, we also have the Leostream Gateway for remote access, which is critical for these hybrid workflows that we see in the workforce today. You'll see in the demo I'll do in a second, in the Leostream platform, you as IT have full control over how that RGS connection is configured, from matching displays to showing borders, all of the different RGS functionality that you have for configuring natively in RGS is available through the Leostream connection as well. And you can actually optionally give end users a way to override those parameters. So if they have different displays that they want to use, you can allow them to set that. There's some more features in Leostream around associating user identities. We see this come up in RGS environments where you want to log into Leostream using your corporate identity provider, but then you need to log into the desktop as a different user identity. But Leostream allows you to actually map those user identities together. So even if a generic user logs into the workstation, you know which physical user it is. And obviously that is very important for your auditing and your tracking of who's using what. And obviously, RGS is the protocol, Leostream is the platform, and all of the pooling plan and policy options that make Leostream the ultimate control plane you can use when you're managing workstations or VMs and you're connecting via RGS. Now, just one final note before I show this in action. If you are currently using HP Anyware with the PC over IP protocol, whether you're a current Leostream customer or just using HP Anyware with the HP Anyware Manager, you can give your users a really seamless transition over to HP Z RGS when you insert the Leostream platform. And here's your four-step process. You'll install the RGS sender and receivers, where you have your PC over IP agents and HP Anywhere clients. If you are using the PC over IP Connection Manager and Security Gateway for remote access, you will place that with the Leostream Gateway. Do a little configuring in Leostream to build up protocol plans. I'll show you in a second. And then users can just log in and transition from HP Anywhere clients to Leostream clients, and they're ready to go. So let's show this in action then. Let me open up my tab. So here is my Leostream connection broker, and I'm just quickly going to log in as an admin and show you what I have here. So I'm not going to go through a full demo. You can reference some other videos for more information, but you'll see that in my configuration section, I've set up a couple pools. I have one, which are my machines running PC over IP agents, and that's my HP Anywhere pool. And then I have a new pool, my RGS pool, which is machines running the RGS sender. And what I want to do is transition users from HP Anywhere to RGS. So similarly, I have two protocol plans. One launches HP Anywhere. The other one here launches HP RGS. And here's where you see where I mentioned you can map user identities. You can, through the RG receiver file, you can change all the parameters you want. That's just a small list of them. But if I look down at the web client section, you'll notice I have many, many different parameters here. Optionally send the connection through a Leostream Gateway. And here you see the different types of parameters that you can optionally allow end users to override when specifying how their RGS session is launched. Again, all of the power control and release plan options that you can use with any display protocol work spectacularly with RGS. I won't go over those today, but what I will show you is my two policies. So I have one policy called my HP Anywhere policy. Obviously, it's offering one machine from my HP Anywhere pool and connecting via HP Anywhere. And then I have a second policy here, which is my RGS policy. It is offering one machine from my RGS pool and connecting via RGS. Now what you'll see is a couple things I've done here. I've created locations, and one is a location for my HP Anywhere client. If I'm transitioning and my users are currently using an HP Anywhere client, they're going to fall into this location. As I transition them over to Leostream Connect or a web client, they're going to fall into the all location. I could have set up other locations for web browsers if I wanted, but I just went with HP Anywhere as a subset. Now you'll also notice I created a special role for my RGS users, which is this collaborator role. The ability to send invitations to collaborate in Leostream is role-based, so not everyone gets it. You can say who's allowed to collaborate. And then what you actually can see in the policy is in the policy you have some control over who they're allowed to collaborate with. And so if I scroll down here in the policy, I've enabled collaboration for my RGS sessions. And here I've said they can collaborate with all users, but I can even change it to just specific users if you have different teams collaborating on different projects, for example. And you can even generate some email notifications if you set up an SMTP server in your broker, which I have not, as you can see here. So then finally, this comes together in locations. So if I look at my location here, I'm saying if anyone comes from an HP Anywhere client, give them the HP Anywhere policy. But now if they don't come in from that kind of client, they're going to fall through that first rule into the second rule and get the collaborator role and an RGS policy. And I can see that in action very easily. So here I'm going to log in to my HP Anywhere client. And you'll see what I've done, and this is configured in the Leostream Connection Broker. I've given this user a warning that this client is being discontinued and they should launch Leostream Connect or the web client for the next login. You have full control over what this says if you want to redirect them to a different URL, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to continue for now and then hopefully type my credentials correctly. So now you see it's launching my HP Anywhere session. I'm off and running. Let's put that away and then bring up Leostream Connect. Leostream Connect is our software client. There's the Anywhere connection launching in the background. Move that back out of the way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, now instead let's launch in via Leostream Connect. I'm going to log in, and now what it's going to do is actually, you see, it's launching a connection to my RGS workstation. Now, if I minimize this, get rid of that, you can see down here in the toolbar, Leostream Connect has a system tray. This is on Windows, obviously. So I can do things like restart my machine. I've given the user options to do that. They can also invite users to collaborate. You can see what that looks like. You select the user you want to collaborate with. You can give an expiration time for the invitation, all of those cool things. The RGS connection is launching on my other screen as well. Now, just to show you for completeness the web browser experience, here I can also log in. And again, now I get my RGS workstation. I can click the launch to launch RGS, or here I can again invite, or now I can show you the configuration. So here my protocol plan just gives me one parameter that I can override, but you can have, you saw the options that were available in the protocol plan. Again, I can restart my machine. You can even allow users, if these are physical workstations that are IPMI enabled, you can give users the option to do IPMI resets in case their machines are hung. So that can be a really handy tool for IT to kind of minimize some of the manual tasks that they need to do when there are issues. And that's the general overview. If you want to try it out, see it in action, you can drop us a line at info@leostream.com. Thank you.